Hey there, my name is Cole Adams, and you are watching the best college basketball podcast out there that covers the entire sport of college basketball, brackets, bubbles, and bid stealers. Now, here are your hosts, Sam Fetterman and Jonathan Lidskin.
Season 6, episode 51 of Brackets, Bubbles, and Bit Stealers. I am Sam Fetterman. That is Jonathan Lidskin. Really bad start for me tonight.
Horrible. Dude, I'm still trying to figure this out. The jelly fan stuff that we were talking about.
Did we say that on the pod?
I don't think we said it on the pod.
Okay, we have a podcast that we're doing right now. We can't be talking about this. Let's do this. Follow Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stealers wherever you get your podcasts at BBBCBB Podcast on Twitter, on Twitch, and Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stealers on YouTube for us to go live whenever we go live. Jonathan.
Better.
How are you doing?
I'm good, dude. It was a great night for the sport.
Great night for the sport. Great night for the ACC. Terrible night for the Big East.
Again, this is a recurring theme. And, here comes Bud Clark to save the conference, I guess.
No. Malik Mack is saving the conference.
Maybe.
We'll get into the Big East a little bit later when we talk UConn BYU for the weekend. BYU flirted with disaster today against Delaware. Not sure if you watched any of that game, but I caught a couple minutes of it.
I was box score watching. I won't lie and say I watched it, but
yeah, I had my eye on it for a little bit. Man,
it was
This is all building up. This is all building up for AJ to have his first big game in Boston against UConn this weekend, isn't it?
Maybe.
Yeah, I'll be there.
BYU Delaware got into the we might have to turn this on zone, but it never got past that.
I
remember who it was. It was Junie Mobley.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
So, Jonathan, where shall we start?
I kind of feel like we need to start in Louisville.
I agree. We're talking about the Cards and the Cats. Jonathan, not sure how much of this game you were able to catch on your way back from work.
I watched the entire second half, and basically I got the vibes of the first half.
Yeah, I watched this game from start to finish. Man, this Louisville offense, they go nuclear. They took 69 shots, 40 of them were threes. They grabbed 13 offensive rebounds. Their two guards, Mikael Brown Jr. and Ryan Conwell, each made 3 and 4 threes respectively, got to the line a ton, combined for 53 points. I thought Ali Khalifa was awesome in his 15 minutes off the bench. I thought Isaac McNeely came in and hit shots. Sananda Frew had huge plays. He had a huge offensive rebound late in the game. And there were moments where it felt like Louisville was kind of giving Kentucky a chance to get back in the game. They were up in this game by 20 points. But Kentucky made it back. They had a chance to make it a one-score game. Colin Chandler missed an open three. Louisville goes down the court. Louisville had their chance to kind of salt this game away with free throws, and they kept missing. And Kentucky kept not taking advantage of these opportunities. And Louisville was able to hold on. They played a marvelous first, I would say, 30 minutes. The last 10 minutes weren't great. But Kentucky just couldn't finish the job. And Louisville was awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot to take away from this. I think Louisville's offense is as advertised. They shoot, they play fast, but I think that what Louisville wants to do offensively, Kentucky kind of played right into it tonight. They turned it over a lot. There were a lot of bad shots that led to long rebounds and got Louisville out in transition. And then I thought Kentucky also played pretty undisciplined. The fouls were 21-19 in favor of Louisville. Louisville had 19 to Kentucky's 21. But I thought Kentucky's defense was like a huge part of like a lot of those fouls. Like, I don't think that like, Louisville was just being aggressive going to the rim and attacking that way. It certainly plays into it, but I thought like Kentucky's guys like on closeouts, they left their feet a lot. They were late on rotations. Like I said, they let them in transition too many times. And I thought if Louisville was going to win tonight, which, obviously they were favored, it was certainly possible and even probable. But I thought like Kentucky allowed Louisville to do exactly what Louisville wanted to do tonight, to put it simply.
Yeah, I know this isn't going to be the takeaway that a lot of people come with when they allow 88 points, but I was impressed with Louisville's defense tonight. I think they forced a bunch of turnovers. They made life
Gonzaga's
difficult.
2 in Ken Palm, by the way.
I know they made life difficult for Otega Owe. Otega Owe sat a lot of the last 10 minutes of this game when Kentucky was playing its best ball. I mean, Cam Williams came in and made an impact. Malachi Moreno came in and made an impact. But man, Louisville's ball screen defense was awesome in this game. Jalen Lowe had a couple moments, I think, in the first half where he looked good. They shut him down in the second half completely. And any game where any Kentucky player takes 20 shots, I think the opponent has done a good job defensively. Because Kentucky is not going to be a team where there's going to be one player that's going to be a 20-point scorer every night, where they should be taking 20 shots. Now, I could see a game or two where Owe does that. But Denzel Aberdeen shouldn't be taking 20 shots, and I think this is a sign of how good Louisville was defensively, kind of forcing everybody out of their comfort zones, and Aberdeen had to just take a lot of shots, and he was awesome. And Aberdeen was awesome in this game. But Lowe wasn't very good. Owe was not good. Chandler, I didn't think kind of got to him. Chandler had been so good the first 2 games of the season. I didn't feel that he really imposed himself very much in this game. Garrison, I thought struggled defensively. I thought struggled offensively. Didn't really have any. Didn't really battle well with the bigs for Louisville. I thought Frew was impressive, but for the most part, for Louisville, this is a team that, hey, they still only shot 32% from 3 in this game. Like, you have Conwell, McNeely, and Mikal Brown shooting awesome, obviously. But, like, even then, Mikal Brown only shot 3 of 10 from 3. Louisville's ceiling is so high offensively because of how many threes they're going to shoot. They generate so many open looks. They are so fast up and down the floor, and they're so well spaced, and they have so many guys that can pass, so many guys that can create a shot. I think Louisville might have more ways to get a bucket than any other team in the country. Maybe Purdue.
Yeah, I'd probably push back on that a little bit, but it's not important right now. I think on the Kentucky side of this, Jalen Lowe absolutely killed them tonight. Like, he had three turnovers. I will tell you, add a couple more to that, because some of the shots he took were basically turnovers. I mean, you're a third-year guard, you're a 26% three-point shooter, and you take a deep pull-up transition 3 down 6 late in the game. Like,
are you seeing what's going on in the chat right now, by the way?
No, I'm not looking at my phone. I'm focused on the show.
There's some insane behavior right now.
I'll go read it after. But I think like your junior point guard has to be better than he was tonight for you to win games like this, especially on the road. And your all conference, like, potential All-American wing has to be better than he was. Like, if you told me that Otega Owe and Jalen Lowe were going to play like this, like, coming into tonight, like, you probably wouldn't have guessed that this game was going to be any close.
But it really wasn't close.
I mean, when it's a 4-point game with 3-ish minutes left, that's close. Like,
Yeah,
sorry.
but
Like,
for most of this game, Louisville controlled this game from start to finish.
is that not how Louisville's going to be, though? Like, when you live and die on shooting that many threes, it is.
They didn't even make a ton of them. They shot 32%.
Yeah, but you know why they didn't make a ton of them. It was one stretch, like in the second half, where they didn't score for like 4 minutes.
I mean, I still think,
and that's when Kentucky got back in the game.
I still look at this and think for the most part that, hey, like if Louisville can get out there and jack up 43s against Kentucky, and in Kentucky shot 34, that's a lot too. But Louisville wants to shoot 43s a game. They just do, and that's what they're going to do. They're currently number 2 in KenPom in offense. They're probably going to finish the year in the top 3 of KenPom offense. They just have so many ways to score. They will shoot so many threes. They will make so many threes. They will score so many points. Kentucky's going to score a lot of points too. I don't think there's any denying that. I do think they could use Quaintance back. Like they definitely need him back to help around the rim.
Well, I mean, yeah, like Louisville shot 31 free throws tonight.
Yeah, and was 62%.
Like I said, I thought Kentucky.
Mikel Brown Jr. though, like Mikel Brown, this was not a guy that was very good finishing around the rim in high school. Holy crap, he had some incredible finishes today.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's something that we need to kind of take into account here. We're looking at Mikel Brown, by the way, is like a 6'4" point guard that shoots the ball as well as he does, has really good vision. And now we're starting to see him get to the line a ton and finish at the rim. Most years, this is the type of guy that's going to go in the top 2 or 3 of the draft. This year, we don't know if it's going to be 4, if it's going to be 7. Like, if this finishing at the rim and free throw rate continues. Obviously, the defense for him leaves a little to be desired. He's solid on that end. I don't think he was the guy that was kind of making it all happen for them tonight. I thought Hadley did a lot. I thought Khalifa was honestly really good defensively, and so was Frew. But their guards did step up. They did make good defensive plays when they had to. And again, I still think like Adrian Woolley is like a sleeping giant for this team, and they just don't need him to be anything more than what he did tonight. So Louisville, such a fun team to watch. Going to be a fun team to watch all year. Passes this first test with flying colors. And Jonathan, you tweeted it tonight. This is the night the Louisville program officially returned, officially became back. They play Cincinnati next Friday in the Heritage Bank Center in Cincinnati. Then they will play. They do not have another big game after that until the ACC SEC Challenge against Arkansas. But then they play Indiana, Memphis, Tennessee before conference play starts.
Dude, that Indiana game is going to be nuts.
That game might have 190 points. Hey, tonight had 190 points.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be. We talked about it all off season. Like, this is a really watchable team.
I'm just going to say this right now, and there are way too many offenses right now that I'm saying our top 10 offenses, our top 5 offenses. You know, this has been an incredible start to the season for offense, and not just from the free throw rates, just in general.
You know what the problem is with making top 10, Sam?
What?
You can only rank 10 teams.
True.
So, yeah, this
efficiency in general. Last year through 9 days, 104.6. This year, 106.0.
Yeah, well,
2 years
it
ago,
does feel like offenses are improving throughout the sport.
Absolutely.
That I mean, I attribute that in part to, coaches being smarter, figuring out there are ways to get more efficient shots.
Yeah, but coaches being smarter should also be coaches being smarter on defense.
Well, we could go on and on about what we think the next revolution of basketball is.
I mean, I don't know. I couldn't go on and on about that.
We could theorize. I mean, certainly, but that's not why we're here. Bottom line, I think Kentucky needs Jaden Clayton's to hit their ceiling. We knew that We knew that going in. And Louisville, obviously, you said it, Sam. I tweeted it. Tonight feels like the night where, like, this is like Louisville basketball. Louisville basketball is back. They're back in the national stage. They're back in the national conversation. It's a good night for the sport.
Man, can you imagine if they didn't hire Pat Kelsey?
I mean, I think they would have been just fine if Dusty May had taken the job.
But remember, like, wasn't like Jerome Tang involved for a second?
Yeah, I mean, I think we both thought Kelsey was a pretty good hire.
We both did. I love that hire.
Like, people kind of freak out when teams don't get their first or second option, which are always like,
they wanted
Scott
Drew. Scott Drew.
But like, we said Kelsey was a good hire at Louisville. We said Kentucky upgraded going from Cal to Pope, and so far I think those two things look pretty undeniable.
Yeah, no, Louisville would have been fine with Dusty, but man, if they got like Scott Drew, and he had to kind of come in and reset everything at his age with all that he's done, like I can't tell. Like, I know he's an awesome coach. I can't tell you that would be better than what Pat Kelsey's done so far. I don't leave this game at all concerned about Kentucky. Like, definitely,
no, not one bit.
I think this was a Louisville, like a what Louisville is more than a what Kentucky is. I thought the Cats, like, definitely a little disappointed in their performance. Thought they should have had a bigger opportunity in this game. They should have taken advantage of at least one or two of those possessions where Louisville missed free throws.
Yeah, I think it's encouraging, or maybe not. Maybe encouraging is not the right word, but you can come away with something here if you're a Kentucky fan, player, coach, whatever. That you pretty much played into Louisville's hands tonight, and we're right there at the end with the chance to win.
Yeah, you went into a really tough environment. You gave yourself a game.
Yeah, that'll be one of the best.
You never really gave up in this game until I feel like Chandler missing that three when it was 88 to I think 84 when they could have made it a one. No, it was. I don't remember exactly what it was. No, it was 87-81. He missed a three. And then it became. And then I just think from there they did not look good to finish, but they gave themselves a chance in a game that they really shouldn't have given themselves a chance in.
Yeah.
The other huge game that we have to discuss from tonight is Texas Tech, Illinois. Was this game even better than Louisville, Kentucky?
Don't think the crowd was as good, but very few crowds will be better than what Louisville had tonight.
Yeah, that's probably like a top 5 crowd.
From a quality standpoint, yeah, I think it was. It was played a lot more on the half court.
Okay. Before we get into Illinois, because we're going to talk a lot about Illinois, JT Toppin, is he the best player in college basketball, even with these freshmen? Played like it tonight.
I mean, I don't know if you could definitively say that any of these guys are the best player in the sport. Like, Toppin is certainly in that conversation. His numbers are going to be absurd. Like, simply put, Sam, he's an NBA player. He should be in the NBA. And
he should have been in the NBA last year.
He stuck around to play college basketball for another year. And, this is what happens. Illinois,
he's getting $4 million to play college basketball this year.
Okay, Illinois refused to double him tonight, which at first
they started doubling him.
It was huh?
They eventually started doubling him.
In my brain though, it was eventually this is weird. Why aren't they adjusting? But then they put Boswell on him, and it gave him a little bit of problems. And then they kept adjusting, and obviously JT still did his thing, but I thought it was weirdly genius by Illinois to let Toppin go get his and shut down everyone else.
Yeah, I also kind of think just Anderson had a rough night shooting the ball.
You kept a really thin bench for now. It's not going to be a thin bench, but you kept a thin bench
I mean, they're going to be a thin team.
out of foul trouble. Not when they have Petrovic and.
Oh no, I thought you were talking about Tech.
No. Tech is a thin team, but Illinois, like, they kept their guys out of foul trouble. Like, Toppin got his, but you shut down all the perimeter players for Tech.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Only 2 shooting fouls all night for Illinois.
Yeah. At one point during the game, my dad made a comment about the free throw disparity, and I turned to him and I'm like, yeah, Illinois is fine just letting Toppin take twos, as long as these other guys aren't hitting threes.
Yeah, I thought Toppin.
It was certainly a interesting pick your poison game plan from Brad Underwood, but it worked. They won the game.
Rothstein said something really interesting about Underwood. I want to get your thoughts on it. He said, Brad Underwood has Bo Ryan type consistency since 2020, 2021.
Bo Ryan went to back-to-back Final Fours. And was in the national title game.
Let's wait on that one.
I also think that I know he's only comparing the consistency, but wildly different coaches.
Oh yeah, easily.
Bo Ryan was a genius with the whiteboard. Underwood, I think, is more of motivator, recruiter.
Can I also just say, I think Underwood has been awesome at adjusting his game plans the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, outside of the one UConn game.
Yes. No. I'm just saying, he plays differently for every team that he has.
So what I've noticed with Illinois is you're right. They play differently with every team that they have. He is not you're going to play my way or you're not going to play for me.
And he's not and it's not like he's just trying to get the best players imaginable. He's trying to bring together a sensible group and build something around that.
And a couple years ago when Sky Clark was a freshman and they were an 8 or 9 seed, you could tell how much that bothered him with the way that group was playing. They are a culture program. And, I tweeted it tonight, Sam. They don't have a player of Ayo Dosunmu's caliber. They don't have a player of Terrence Shannon's caliber. They don't have a player of Kofi Coburn's caliber. But regardless, I think this has a chance to be Underwood's best team because when they're going to be fully healthy with Tomislav and Petrovic back, I think they're going to have so many options offensively and so many ways they can beat you on the offensive end. And defensively, they're a lot different, I think, than they were last year because they're going to be really big. They're one of the bigger teams in the country, and they have guys that will get after you on the perimeter.
Once they get Tomislav, that you could make the argument, and I'm not going to make this argument. You could make the argument that they were playing tonight without their 2 best basketball players.
Yeah, I think they were definitely playing without one of their 2 best players.
Absolutely. And I think Tommy is probably one of their 2 best players. Petrovic is also probably one of their 3 best players. But I also think on any given night, Mirkovic, Boswell, Stojakovic could all be that. And tonight we saw that from all 3 of those guys in different senses. We saw Wagler had some big moments. Apparently, that's how you say it.
Yeah, Wagler. I didn't think that he would be the one that I'd have trouble pronouncing his name or figuring out how it's pronounced. But I guess it is what it is. I also want to say that given the circumstances, top 15 matchup early in the season, a lot of new pieces on this Illinois team, and your point guard or one of your point guards is out. This was Kylan Boswell's best game as a collegiate basketball player.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I want to talk about Kylan Boswell.
He was tremendous.
We've been talking for years about Kylan Boswell. I think this is obviously his 4th year in school, but like he's 20 years old. He's super young for his grade because he reclassed however many times. We talked about you talk about 2nd year transfer leaps, and for a guy that was a sophomore when he should have been a freshman. When we kind of thought he was going to break out at Arizona, and it didn't really happen. And then he had his moments last year, but was only solid at Illinois. This is kind of the year for him, the real post hype, if you can even say it's post hype.
Mm-hmm.
He is now like figured out his role. He's the veteran, but he's the age of like a sophomore. So he's having that leap now, but he's also bringing the veteran leadership to this team that they need in a game like this. I mean, this is a team starting 2 freshmen and Mirkovic and Wagler. He was the only senior in the starting lineup. Obviously, Hummerkaus played 23 minutes off the bench, and he's been in college for a very long time. I think he played 3 years at an NAIA school before he got to Evansville. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he might have. Yeah, he played 3 years at Huntington before he got to Evansville. So this is his 6th year of college basketball. But Boswell was so good in this game. Makes so many winning plays. So reactive, and he's so active and reactive defensively. He's so smart on that end. And I think that's something he doesn't get enough credit for. The way that he's able to read plays. You saw him kind of come from the baseline, come from the opposite side of the floor, and help double JT Toppin in the second half and make some plays out of that. I thought that was really good. I thought that the way that he got to the basket, he's fearless. This was a guy that he did not get to the foul line at all when he was at Arizona. Now that's kind of become his thing.
Yeah,
he was the energy guy early in this game too. Like getting this, like they were down 7-0, and Texas Tech was like, it felt like they were getting ready to run him out of the gym. Mm-hmm. He hit a big 3 early in this game. We were like, all right, settle down. This is a ball game.
Yeah, I thought he was really good coming off ball screens tonight. You know, his energy defensively has always been there. He's gonna turn it over, especially when you ask him to play point guard like Illinois did tonight, because he's not a true point guard. He is an off-ball guard, a combo guard at best, if you will. But I thought he did a pretty good job picking his spots. Really did a good job getting in the lane tonight and making plays. And, you know, I mentioned it, but they even asked him to guard JT Toppin for a little. And to be honest, I think he had more success guarding Toppin than some of their other guys did.
Yeah. I don't have any concern about Texas Tech from this game from like I still think this is going to be a really good team perspective. But I'm definitely think I might have been a little too high on them in the preseason, having them at number 4. Like, I don't think they're like, if you ask me right now, is Texas Tech a top 5 team in the country? The answer is no. Like,
I don't know, man. Like, I know metrics didn't exactly like these guys like coming into the year, but like, I know Illinois was missing guys, and if everyone's healthy, Illinois still probably wins this game. But Luke Bamboy is a pretty essential to what they're doing there, and especially considering like
I think it's more of there are other teams that have probably
yeah. I mean, we've also seen other teams play and win big games like Texas Tech. We're 9 days into the season, but Texas Tech is going to be searching for
matchup, by the way, next Thursday at Baja Mar against Wake Forest, who we'll get into in a moment.
Who's in the other game in that?
We got to memorize this, man.
Yeah, I mean,
because we'll preview this next week, obviously.
You can transition us.
That's Purdue Memphis.
Okay, so hopefully we get a Texas Tech Purdue game there. Another, Purdue's a deep team.
Oh man, I'll be driving home during that game.
This is the 20th and the 21st, so this is Thursday, Friday.
Yeah. By the way, we're going to do our Feast Week preview that Friday afternoon, early afternoon. Haven't figured out guests yet. We're working on that. But really excited to do that. We're not planning it on the podcast, but we're telling you about it right now. And we won't have another pod, by the way, until this Sunday. Nothing on Thursday, nothing on Friday, nothing on Saturday. We'll be back on Sunday. Jonathan, anything else on Texas Tech, Illinois?
Christian Anderson finds ways to make an impact on the game even without scoring. 11 assists, 3 turnovers tonight. That's pretty good. And Texas Tech was not going to
talk about Andrei Stojakovic.
Texas Tech was I mean that was like that was kind of like the obvious point, right? Like, he comes off the bench 23 tonight, 11 of 16, excuse me, from the field. It felt like he hit a ton of tough shots.
The block.
Yeah, I mean, that was
ginormous play.
Probably the best defensive play I've seen thus far this season.
I think I agree, considering the context.
He was
such a good.
He was fully beat.
That was such a good sideline out of bounds play by Texas Tech. You know who I've seen run that exact play before is Illinois. They used to run it all the time with Shannon. So I love Texas Tech kind of getting Anderson the ball and getting him in space. He beat Stojakovic totally. But really, really good job by Stojakovic to make that play. All right. Jonathan, you want to take the next part of this whip around? We've got Creighton and Gonzaga coming up.
I watched this game basically from start to it was analytically final. We mentioned Gonzaga's up to number 2 in Ken Pom. That team's really freaking good.
They're old. They're good. They're strong. They're grown.
But their defense is so much better than it was last year with 2, key players being still a part of what they do.
I gotta say, man, Mario St. Superi on both ends.
Yeah.
That's the difference maker. That's the difference maker. Okay, Worley, obviously.
I think there's a couple. And
yeah, go ahead.
He wasn't good tonight. But Tyon Grant Foster gives them a different element offensively that they didn't have a year ago. They didn't have someone that could get to the basket like that. When he is not settling, he's a really effective player. And then obviously, having a guy like him that's 6'7" with a wingspan like his doesn't hurt on the defensive end either.
Yeah, I mean,
they're way more athletic than they were a year ago.
Yeah, so much more athletic. I think this team has. I mean, Huff was awesome. Ike was awesome. I am really deeply convinced that I was right about Creighton's defense. At this point right now. I think we said Creighton's going to give up a lot of points in this game. But my God.
They gave up 1.23 points per possession, which is...
It felt like more, but the second
obviously
half,
terrible, but the more concerning part to me is they only scored 0.86.
Yeah, I mean, Creighton's defense we know is bad. And I think Creighton's offense will be better. But This was not good.
They got nothing from Dix or Freeman tonight.
Nothing. Those have to be two of their best players. I mean, Zugic was a no-show. Only 7 minutes. Like, this guy was supposed to take a big leap for them. And obviously now you're redshirting Hudson Greer. That's a guy that can come in and make shots for you. Like, you first game after you redshirt him, 7 of 25 from 3. Like,
I just disagree with that decision to redshirt.
Like, maybe he didn't. Maybe he's not ready. Maybe he isn't. But I don't know. I feel like they could have used him out there tonight. They were throwing so many different lineups out there, trying to get something to stick. They threw out Karam Conan, Ty Davis,
Swartz. Yeah.
They had nothing stuck. Meanwhile, Gonzaga threw out everybody and everything stuck.
They're in players era, right?
Gonzaga?
Creighton.
Yes.
They could go 0-3 there.
I wonder if they end up playing.
Well, I wouldn't bet on it, but they could go.
I wonder if they end up playing Syracuse.
Their first 2 games are Baylor and Iowa State. Like,
oh, here we go. Creighton, Syracuse, and game.
Those two, like, they will probably lose both those games.
Did you catch any of Michigan Wake Forest?
The end. I watched overtime.
I didn't see much of overtime, but I saw a lot of regulation.
Oh, okay. So this is perfect. You can talk about regulation, and I'll talk about overtime.
Yeah, I mean, first 20 minutes of this game, I thought Mara was clearly the best player on the floor. Just looked dominant in every facet. He was passing, he was scoring, he was rebounding, he was blocking everything. Mobility. This was a guy that 2 years ago we were talking about how he literally had cement feet. He couldn't move. This year, I mean, obviously you're still deep drop, but his arms are so long that he can affect every shot, and he's moving really well on the offensive side. He's not just clogging up the paint, and his vision is really helping that as well. So I think that's huge for Michigan. Cadeau had his moments too. And you kind of mentioned with Yaks, like Lendeborg didn't have his best game, 9 points, 5 rebounds. I think there's still some lingering effects with the hand injury here. That's definitely, like, I know CBB content, TJ posted about it. I'm like, all right, man. Like, TJ has thrown out some crazy bait so far this year. He's not on his game right now in terms of ball knowledge. He's throwing stuff out there.
Man, respect our guy TJ.
I don't know, man. I gotta call a spade a spade. He's been throwing out some crazy bait right now because this is clearly like hey, Yaks isn't 100%. Michigan still wins without him, survives a really tough game against the Wake Forest team that's clearly a lot better than we thought. Man, Juke Harris, maybe the best player that I didn't really think about a ton this offseason.
Yeah, I had 2 guys from this team on my breakout list. Juke was one of them. Colvin was the other. Both of them look to be good tonight. I think on the Michigan side,
I also just want to say, like, for Wake Forest to come back in this game and like do it with Trayvon Spillers in foul trouble, the guy who is their best defensive player, and then they're still holding Michigan scoreless for stretches of periods of time. It really speaks to this team's physicality and the way that they were able to match up. I thought they were really good in that aspect, and they forced 17 turnovers. Their guards were really active.
Yeah, this team's going to have to figure out how to, speaking about Michigan, this team's going to have to figure out its best lineup to maximize its defense that should be elite, but also not forget about shooting. And I think a lot of that has to do with Trey McKinney. Played 23 minutes tonight, 0-4 from 3. Outside of Namari Burnett, I think he's the best shooter on the roster that is, like, playable from what it seems. Winters Grady is also a tremendous shooter, but didn't play tonight at all. So, mixing him in, Kaysen, and Burnett, like, those guys, I think, like, you're going to have to find a way to get at least one of them on the floor at all times. And most of the time, too. I don't think that people realized in the offseason how important a day Morrow was for UCLA. All of a sudden, like, he's gone, and UCLA in the first 3 games can't guard a lick. And Michigan comes here, and he has 5 blocks in a game that Michigan scores under a point per possession and wins against the high major team. Like, add on the fact that, he finishes with 18, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, and he played 37 minutes. I'm pretty positive he didn't get close to 37 minutes last year. So, he's better conditioned. He can go for longer. This is one of the most important players and one of the most impactful players in the entire country.
Yeah, I want to move on and talk a little bit about Florida State, Florida. I watched a little bit of this game towards the end and a little bit before halftime. And like, Florida State's good, like better than people think. I had them a lot higher than people thought.
Yeah, I didn't understand the worse than the ACC stuff.
But this is a little concerning on my end from Florida.
Okay.
I hope I share the same qualms with Xavier Lee that I shared last week, where I straight up look at him and I say, he's not playing basketball the way I think he should be playing basketball. He is still chucking. 1 for 10 from 3, 2 for 13 from the field today. Like, there is no universe where he should be taking 10 threes in a game, ever. He's best when he's getting 2 feet in the paint and making good passes, making good decisions. And, the last possession before the half, he did exactly that. The possession before that, he chucked up a 3 with, 15 on the shot clock when it was guarded. Thomas Houck, man, this guy's awesome. He's the gritty guy. He'll make the tough play. He is the ultimate, kind of do everything guy that's now just evolving into, hey, I can get you a bucket whenever you need one now. So that's huge. Florida is just going to maul teams on the glass. They got 58 rebounds in this game to Florida State's 36. And Florida State's a really athletic team, in my opinion. Chauncey Wiggins, Lajay Jones, Alex Steen. Those are athletic guys. They mauled them. Kobe McGee, they got so many rebounds. Ruben Chinyelu is one of the best rebounders in the sport. He's awesome. Thomas Houck got 13. Xavier Lee. I mean, again, Xavier Lee. People don't remember that Xavier Lee is actually a good rebounder for a guard. He's really thin.
He's a great athlete.
Yeah, he's really thin and wiry, so you don't think he's a great athlete, but he is. It's the problem is I don't think he uses it offensively. Condon had a couple big plays, a couple bad plays, but man, Florida is their floor is going to be so high in every game because of the rebounding, but they've got to figure out their best kind of offensive looks in terms of who should be taking shots when, because
they can't shoot.
They're not making shots right now.
They can't shoot. They can't shoot, and
they need to find more minutes for the bench guards.
Well, having AJ Brown, I think, would help.
Yeah,
just because it gives you more versatility.
He can shoot it too.
I don't know what's going on, but I'm almost at the point where I think Florida might need to sit Alex Condon down for a game, and give him a game off. Even
he was also in North Florida.
Dude, he had 6 turnovers again tonight. In the 2 big games that Florida's played this year, Arizona, Florida State, the 2 high majors, he's had 12 turnovers combined in those 2 games. He's just so sped up right now. I don't know.
He was turning it over a lot in the tournament.
I don't know what's going on. I don't think of Alex Condon as a guy who doesn't scale up to good competition well. I mean, he was a 121.0 rating in SEC play last year. He was blocking a ton of shots. He was drawing a ton of fouls. Like, I think there's just something going on right now, and I don't know what it is, and I don't know how this is going to be fixed. But Alex Condon's a tremendous basketball player, and something's just off right now. And if he's not good for them, like, Florida's got issues.
3 more games that we got to discuss. Get through all these quickly. Santa Clara just bullied Xavier. 87.
Yeah. I want to make sure that we give Santa Clara our props because
there's 2 stories come out of this. You can take the Santa Clara angle.
There's I've noticed this over the last week or so. It's very easy at the start of a college basketball season to see a result and say oh, this team's good, but this team's bad. I think that applies here, though. Xavier is in some deep trouble.
Yeah, I'll get into that in a minute. But
yeah, Santa Clara can play. Mahi's awesome. Hammond had a great game for them. We obviously know that Darlin is this athlete that's going to rebound and protect the rim for them as an older guy. They don't have they don't have a Jalen Williams. It's pretty hard to get those twice at Santa Clara. But
they got Brandon Pajimski.
Sendek does a really good job. They are consistently a top 100 team.
Yeah, 3 of the last 4 years.
Even bordering on top 60 some years. This is and he's got another great group that'll win a lot of games in conference play and be one of the more competitive mid-majors in the entire country.
Xavier's bad.
Horrendous.
Richard Pitino. Where are the grades?
I don't want to
Richard Pitino, where are the grades? Where are the grades for this game?
I mean, does he need to give them F? I mean,
well, he gave them for the first 2. You got to give them for this one.
Yeah, I'd honestly argue.
I'd
honestly argue that those results were just as bad as this one.
Jonathan, Malik Moore was supposed to be one of the better players on this team. He had 16 points against Marist and 17 against Lemoyne. He didn't take a shot against Santa Clara. Not a single one. If Roddy Anderson,
21 minutes.
Roddy Anderson took 16 shots and 16 free throws. We established that Roddy Anderson was bad at Boise State. That is that is what we're dealing with right now. The guy who's the highest usage guy for Xavier in this type of game was bad 2 years ago at a Mountain West school.
This isn't a good roster.
No, not even close.
Especially not without Pizzato.
The Pizzato injury really hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, you do have a bunch of guys that have another year after this, and Robinson and Wright and Pizzato, Milicevic, all those guys are going to be theoretically back next year. But this team sucks right now.
All right will be probably back in the Valley next year.
We'll see.
In 10 games last year against Tier A and B competition, All Right was 99 offensive rating, 44 effective field goal percentage, 48 true shooting percentage, and shot 32% from 3.
Very, very concerned about Xavier.
I mean, we don't have to sit here and just rag on the Big East, but
I'm fine sitting here ragging on the Big East because this has been a bad week for the Big East. First,
we mentioned it on Sunday where we're talking.
We mentioned it on Sunday, and it got worse. It got worse, and it's not just the result and the Creighton result. DePaul, they lost by 13 to Buffalo. We'll talk about that in a bit. The only undefeated teams right now in the Big East, Jonathan, are UConn, Butler, Georgetown, and Seton Hall. Butler has played 300 teams. UConn has played 2 300 teams and a 200 team.
They're still playing double round robin, right?
Yes.
UConn is going to be a 20-point favorite in conference play multiple times this year.
All right.
That's insane.
Do you have any thoughts on Mississippi State, Iowa State?
Didn't get to watch it, but like, man, like how this is one, like I said, that like, we don't need to like have a reaction to both teams because like I'm not going to write off Miss State at all. Chris Jans is a good coach.
I thought they were really bad defensively.
Runs a good program. Iowa State's just so consistent, year in and year out. Like we saw it. The odds floor right now is like a 6 seed, and you bring back Lipsy, you bring back Mobchilovich, who wasn't even good in this game. You bring back Jefferson, who you love, I love. Does anyone scout bigs for their system better than Otts?
No.
Buchanan,
I thought William Toure was good too.
Buchanan looks like a stud. Toure, that's a top 60 kid for Jonathan Lidskin right there.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, I love this Iowa State team. They can score in a lot of different ways. But, man, Mississippi State's defense in this game was not good.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, by the way, is
they kind of let Iowa State bully them. And that's not what you ever expect from a Mississippi State team coached by Chris Jans. 26 turnovers to 9, by the way. That's how you let Iowa State control a game. You give them the ball for 38 points in the second 10 minutes of the game, and you just keep turning it over to them.
I'll ask you this because
Brandon Walker played 9 minutes, scored 10 points, had 2 turnovers. Josh Hubbard had 7 turnovers. Sean Jones had 5 turnovers. Delquan Warren had 4 turnovers. He took 1 shot.
I'll ask you because you watched probably at least a lot more than I did of this. Did they play Jefferson at the 5 when Buchanan sat? Because it looks like Mulder only played 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think they did.
So, and then the other thing I would ask is,
well, we saw Plata. We saw Plata.
Okay. And then the other thing I'll ask is, did it cross your mind once that like the kid, I'm blanking on his name, the kid from EWU wasn't playing?
No. Didn't think about it.
Like if Torre is good, Bateman's good. Obviously, we know Heisey can play, and Dom Nelson's good. They're fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Those are your 2nd through 5th best guards.
Yes. Mason Williams is who you were thinking of.
Yes. I was going to call him Mason Jones, but I knew that wasn't right.
Yeah. All right. Last but not least, let's talk a little bit about Duke Army. Thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, like, credit to these two for getting it done. Duke going there. I think it's funny that, one of the criticisms of Coach K was like he would never play road games in non-con, and like now Duke's going to Army, and they'll go to Michigan State later.
Duke was basically pressing with their starters to late in this game, and like that's
listen.
Like, they were running it up.
John Shire wanted to finish the night number 1 in Ken Palm, and who am I to tell him no?
Thought Caden Boozer was really good.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about Caden a lot. He's a good player.
This was Dame Sarr. Like, he was the best player on the floor.
So, I guess, like, my one takeaway from this would be, like, I don't know. I didn't get a look at the 5 threes that Sarr took, but if he's going to hit threes for this team, that's really important.
I agree. I don't know what I think about Army. Obviously, like, you're not learning much from this game. They hung tough for the first 10 minutes. Like, they really did.
Yeah.
There was really good energy about them. Curry hit a 3. Jackson Furman was really good in this game. But man, like, I think they're probably going to be near the bottom of the Patriot League. They just won't guard anything.
Mm-hmm.
They allowed 1.48.
Losing Scovins was tough.
Yeah. And like now everything falls on Curry offensively, and he was 3 for 9 today. Alan Spack was so good for them as well.
Hope we can see something like this again.
Yeah, me too. Helmet sticker time. Jonathan, get us started.
Let me pull up my list here. All right. Money Williams. Helmet sticker.
Go ahead.
They go to UNLV tonight. I know UNLV already lost a bye game this year, but like there's still a Mountain West team playing a Big Sky team. We know how great this kid's story is. 30 points, 8 assists. We'll ignore the 6 turnovers, but Ken Pom MVP on the road in a win in a bye game.
That what you got on Montana?
I mean, hey, like our guy CJ gets 6 points tonight for in the league for Montana.
Yeah, keep an eye on Montana Cal Poly on Friday night in Missoula.
Yeah, really good win for the Grizz. You want me to keep going?
No, my turn.
Okay,
my turn. My first helmet sticker goes to James Jones.
I went on the dock and was like planning to give him one, by the way, and then like I saw you did it, and I was like, yeah.
Yale's first 2 games of the season were away at the Patriot League preseason poll number 1 and away at the Metro Atlantic preseason poll number 1. They won those 2 games 97-68 and 97-60, Jonathan. They trailed early in both games.
Sam, you know this already because you cover the Ivy League and you are on the analytics sites. Tell the audience where Yale is in Ken Pom right now.
65th.
Sandwiched in between Pitt at 66 and Minnesota at 64.
And friends, I don't know if they're done climbing because they get to play home games now.
I mean, dude, if they just like keep pummeling teams.
Yale is favored in all but 1 game this season. They currently have a 21% chance, according to Ken Pom, of going undefeated in Ivy League play. 21. There's not another team in the country who's going to have that high of a probability to go undefeated in conference.
And the one game for those who do not have the Yale schedule pulled up in front of them that they are not favored in is they go to Alabama on December 29th. That's a Monday. Ken Pom currently has it Alabama -11.
Yeah. Every single other game on Yale's schedule.
Alabama doesn't lose to mid-majors. Like
every single other game on Yale's schedule, they have at least an 80% probability to win, according to Ken Pom.
Yeah. Alabama doesn't lose to mid-majors. Like that's just their thing. But like the idea of like Yale going to Bama and possibly being like a single-digit dog there, crazy.
Yeah, I just want to like talk about this game because I watched
run up the numbers, boys. We didn't at large.
I want to talk about this game because I watched it. Yale shot 70% from the field in the first half. Like this was a close game after 10 minutes. Yale finished the first half on a 29-6 run. Like they just couldn't miss. Casey Simmons was making crazy finishes. Riley Fox was drilling step back threes. Isaac Selascar, Nick Townsend. They have so many dudes that can score. And Trevor Mullen is their point guard after Benson Bang left. And obviously he's not the same defensively. But like he didn't even have to do very much in this game. He had 14 and 6 against Navy. He took 7 shots today and he didn't have an assist, but Yale's the team had 17 assists. They got assists from like 9 different players. And they held Quinnipiac to 0.85 points per possession. This is the team that's expected to be really good in the MAC. Obviously, Amari Monroe kind of went down injured and then came back and then only played 19 minutes, only took 8 shots, but he only had 7 points.
I'm going to say this, Sam, so people know it's not just MAC bias. Like, Quinnipiac is not a joke.
No, not at all.
They came into this game above 200 in Ken Pom. They brought back one of the best players in the conference, a player who was in the portal and was getting looks for like high majors, if I'm remembering
He was
correctly.
going to commit to Rutgers.
Yeah. That's Amari Monroe. And they brought
He
back
was the MAC Player of the Year.
They brought back another player who I believe was all freshman last year.
Yes, and he's going to be
Jaden Zimmerman. So like this is a Quinnipiac team that like we could see in the NCAA tournament. And
I just said Yale beat Navy, who was the number 1 preseason pick in the Patriot League, by 29 on the road. And then Quinnipiac, the number 1 preseason pick in the MAC, by 37 on the road.
37.
All right, Jonathan, who's your second helmet sticker?
Dude, I wanted to give it to like a couple different people. The team as a whole, the coach, but like the Daniel Freitag narratives are so back, man. Buffalo, we mentioned it. Buffalo, they beat DePaul tonight, 66-53 on the road in Chicago. Daniel Freitag gets the Ken Pom MVP, 18 points, 6 boards, 4 assists. Ryan Sable has been good for them too.
Yeah, he got one of my helmet stickers last week.
But I like that Freitag's thriving. I was high on him as a recruit, even if it is at a school like Buffalo.
Yeah, look, Buffalo was really, really, really bad the last 2 years. They were 4-27 and 9-22. They were 348 and 339 in Ken Pom. They're up to 252.
Yeah,
they're rising.
And 3-0 on the season.
Now, I will say, Jim Weitzel got fired for finishing outside the top 200 once and going under 500 and going 500 in the league once. Now, that team that he had that went 500 was so talented, by the way. It was the year before that. The year they went 13-6 and lost in the first round.
In 2022.
Yeah, and they had Jonathan Williams, Josh Mbala, Maceo Jack, David
Ronaldo Segu, yeah.
Curtis Jones coming off the bench.
Skogman, yeah.
Yeah, and then the next year they had Curtis Jones, Isaiah Adams, Armani Foster, guys like that. Devin Caesar, forgot about him. But Buffalo on the rise. Like we kind of talked about them as a joke a little bit last year. Definitely, Jonathan and I joked about them.
They are playing well. They're playing well.
Good ball. They've got Vermont coming up next Tuesday.
With the way Vermont's playing, feels winnable.
Yeah, favored in every game until December. Buffalo could be 8-0 going into December. Don't think it's going to happen, but they could.
They're not beating Jim Christian. They're not beating Jim Christian.
Nobody walks into the Kessler Athletic Center and leaves with a W.
I'm just telling you, they could start. Let me count it off here. What is it? 3-0 right now. They could start 6-0 or 7-0. They're not beating Jim.
No, they could also drop 4 in a row. They could also drop to 4-4.
Yeah, they're favored in these games by like.
These are coin tosses. VMI is a coin toss. Bucknell is a coin toss. Bucknell lost to Princeton tonight. Amon Dories had 12 and 7, but he had 7 turnovers. I'm going to make it a point to mention Amon Dories in every podcast episode.
Maybe we should start a counter.
I'm going to go.
I don't think we should start a counter.
Give my second helmet sticker to a guy who probably shouldn't still be playing college basketball. But this is year 6. He's finally back playing basketball at his absolute best, and that is John Hughley IV for Duquesne. He had 27 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 assists tonight. His second straight 25-point game. Duquesne survives a home game in overtime against Queens at home. They move to 3-0. They win at 87-81. John Hughley looks like an all A10 player, Jonathan. Are you buying or are you selling?
I can buy that a 6th-year player in the A10 could have a really good year. Yeah, I can buy that.
What do you think?
I mean, like Hughley once upon a time was a very talented player. And an all conference level player even. And injuries has derailed his career a little bit, and he's been at a bunch of different schools at this point. But good for him.
Duquesne 3-0 plays Villanova on Saturday. Think Villanova is probably going to win that. Villanova was really impressive tonight.
Villanova has surprisingly been one of the Big East teams that has not looked totally dead.
Really impressive tonight. They hit 22 threes. Devin Askew made 7. Bryce Lindsay made 9, a Villanova single game record.
Bryce Lindsay is really good.
Yeah. Did not give any of them a helmet sticker, but that is a game to keep an eye on Saturday at 8 p.m. on True TV. Jonathan.
Yeah, so I'm glad you took this off the whip around, because I really wanted to talk about Ilyas Kamardin tonight. I didn't get to watch this game because there was just only so many screens for so many good basketball games. But they host Memphis tonight. Memphis has gone into high major arenas and won games like this before. Kamardin, 26 points, was 11 of 14 from the field. 1 of 5 from the free throw line. Not great, obviously, but don't expect that to continue. 4 rebounds, 4 assists. We talk international kid shining. Yeah, Ole Miss seems to have found one.
He's old, and the other thing is he's been their point guard.
I don't hate playing Giffel off the ball.
Yeah, I think that's big for them.
Don't hate it.
You want me to give my third?
Yeah.
My third helmet sticker goes to Central Connecticut and Darren Smith. This is a Central Connecticut team that lost all 5 starters from last year. Jordan Jones, Devin Hade, Jaden Brown, Abdul Momo, Joe Ostrowski. Also, Devontae Sweatman is gone. Jalen McGlone was gone. Those were 7, I think, of their key guys from last year. They were really good. They were 14-2. They lost in the NEC championship game by 3 points. They had a chance to win it, and they didn't. DeMar Kelly had a game winner for St. Francis. This year they come back. They get pounded by Quinnipiac on Thursday, but they respond by going to Chestnut Hill, hanging with Boston College the whole way, and then Darren Smith on their last possession drives to the basket, scoops in a layup, and then they get a stop on Donald Hand, who was 5 of 19 in this game for ACC
Player of the Year.
Preseason Player of the Year vote getter Donald Hand against the NEC team. And Central Connecticut gets a win. Central Connecticut out-rebounded Boston College on their own floor. Central Connecticut got 17 points from Melo Sanchez, but Darren Smith gets my helmet sticker because he had the game winner. Shout out to the Blue Devils. Shout out to Pat Sellers, one of the best coaches in the Northeast.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody doesn't hire him this offseason, it's a mistake.
Jonathan, would you?
I don't want to take anything away from Central. By the way, that's a obviously big time win for a program that is rebuilding after a huge year last year.
Yeah, and they could still be one of the best teams in the NEC this year.
Yeah, no doubt. And Sellers is a huge reason for that.
Yeah, we'll say LIU picks up a road win at Air Force today.
Mm-hmm.
So good day for the NEC.
Speaking of the NEC, helmet sticker number 4, New Haven, the program of New Haven. They pick up, we talk about them a little bit over the weekend, and I think maybe on the Friday show as well, because they were one of the stories of the first weekend of college basketball. They were hosting Penn State. There were national media members there, or I should say, a national media member there, and his children.
Yeah.
But they host Penn State. It seems to, it seems to take flight, the story, and then 2 days later they go to UMass Lowell, pick up their first Division I win, 73-67 on the road.
My final helmet sticker, and I mentioned him last week. It's going to go to Keon Thompson of Stephen F. Austin. 3 games to start the season, 3 20-point performances, 26-5-7 against Arkansas State last week, 27-4 today for them in an 81-69 win over Rice. Stephen F. Austin with Matt Brower, first-year head coach from the Texas Tech staff and the Grant McCaslin coaching tree, is 3-0 and up to 143rd in Ken Palm. Jonathan,
Up 91 spots from the start of the season.
They are projected to win 22 games, according to Ken Palm. They are probably, in my eyes right now, either the best or second best team in the Southland, which is a Southland conference that is significantly better than it has been in past. Obviously, it was great last year. It's going to be great again this year. UTRGV has killed Southern Utah. That's a good sign. Incarnate Word has killed a couple non-D1s. These teams play a lot of non-D1s.
Lamar had TCU
on the ropes. Lamar is extremely well coached. New Orleans beat TCU. I think East Texas A&M is clearly the worst team in this league.
Yeah.
But Stephen F. Austin, don't be surprised if the Jacks are back in the tournament this year. We'll talk about them a lot. Jonathan, January 5th, Monday, January 5th, McNeese hosts Stephen F. Austin, first of those 2 matchups on the year.
I'm really glad that we actually have a good Southland. Obviously, you mentioned it was good last year, but it seems like the conference may even be deeper and elevated this year.
Yeah, I think it's just last year, it was so obvious that McNeese was going to win.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. And at the same time, Mondays have been kind of lacking over the last couple of years because Big Monday, you really only have 2 major games, both on ESPN, one Big 12, one ACC. Well, the ACC has been lackluster the last couple of years. So obviously with the ACC improving and the Southland, who plays a lot of games on Monday, could make Mondays in college basketball a lot more interesting this year.
All right, Jonathan, let's make some picks.
Yes.
Because again, we don't really have, I'm going to be honest with you, if we had enough idea to preview ideas at this moment, we're still trying to react to so much.
Yeah, we will get to a point.
Our first preview episode of the year is going to be next Friday when we do the Feast Week preview. We're going to pick all the Feast Week tournaments like we always do. But until then, it's just going to be straight recaps and some picks. Jonathan, Alabama, Purdue. Alabama is -1.
Give me Bama. Return game, revenge game from second of a home and home. Obviously, Bama went to Mackey last year. Crazy game. The CJ Cox breakout game, for those of you that remember. Bama wins this one. I like this Bama team, man.
I'm going Purdue. And I like this Bama team too, but man, I think this Purdue team is awesome. I know that they struggled against Oakland. I think that's kind of shifting the line a little bit too much for my liking. I'm not really concerned about Purdue after that game. I'm not as concerned as the numbers are. So give me the Boilers. Anything else you want to say about Thursday's slate?
Don't have it pulled up in front of me right now. So
we'll have an eye on Wichita State, Loyola Chicago.
Yeah. Pitt, West Virginia, always a fun rivalry.
Yeah. Friday, Arizona -2 at the Intuit Dome against UCLA. Jonathan, where are you going?
What's the line?
-2.
Yeah, I'm taking Arizona.
Me too.
It didn't really matter. Just wanted to ask. Like I mentioned earlier on the pod, UCLA's interior defense, I think, is pretty significantly worse than it was last year. And I'm expecting another huge game for Koa Pete. I think Mo Krivas will play well. Waiting for Braden Berries to break out too, and I'm not sure if this is the game, but keeping an eye on that.
Yeah, and then Arizona will play UConn next Wednesday, so we'll talk about that for sure next Tuesday when we do our Champions Classic recap. But I don't know if we'll have a pod next Wednesday.
We'll see.
Yeah, give me Arizona. Any other general thoughts on Friday's slate?
Michigan goes on the road to TCU. Gonna have an eye on that one. The other one that I'm looking forward to now, Gonzaga goes to Arizona State. I don't know if this will be a competitive game with the way Gonzaga looks, but Arizona State has a freshman, Masamba Diop, who has really popped in their first 2 games, and I'm looking forward to watching him.
Yeah, I'll be at Fort Iona. Couple games on Saturday. UConn -5 against BYU at TD Garden.
UConn. Taking another favorite, man.
BYU covers, UConn wins.
I think this is UConn's a national title contender game.
I think BYU comes to play. UConn pulls it out.
From what I've watched out of BYU so far, and obviously I didn't get eyes on the Delaware game, but I did watch the entire opener against Nova. Putting a little 2 and 2 together, I just don't know if BYU's at UConn's level.
I don't think they are either, but I think they'll come to play.
AJ
Clemson,
in the TD Garden, right? Yeah.
Yes. Clemson -4 against Georgetown.
Give me Georgetown. This one's in DC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Georgetown is a physical team that I think can handle Clemson's bigs. And like I said, they're just going to grind out wins all year. I think that Georgetown being at 74 in Ken Palm right now is relatively absurd. I think they're much better than the 74th best team in the country.
Me too.
I'll say they cover and win outright.
I like Clemson, man. I think Clemson's bigs are going to be really difficult to stop for anybody. And I know Georgetown has been really good defensively in the front court. Vince has been great. Halafanua has been great. So I'm going to lean Georgetown covers, but I want to leave the door open for Clemson to win.
Sure.
Maryland Marquette, teams that need to get right. Marquette -3 at Fiserv Forum.
Yeah, I'll take Marquette.
Me too. All right. Last one, November 16th. Houston is -5 in Birmingham against Auburn.
I'll take Auburn.
I'll take Houston. I'm like a little pinched up about Auburn right now. I know that they've kind of dominated their last 2 games, but Stephen Pearl's first game against a real good team, and it's against Kelvin Sampson.
Houston should let Kellen coach this game. the 2 sons, that would be fun.
All right, I'm going Houston in that one. All right, we'll see you on Sunday, Jonathan. You want to take us home?
I would absolutely love to take us home. If you came to hear about Tyler Self and where he's working, you came to the right place. If you came to not hear about Nate Oates coaching on Zoom, you came to the right place. And if you came to hear about the latest happenings with Caleb Grill, you came to the right place. This has been Season 6, Episode 51 of Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stealers. We'll see you next time.